Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. From computer of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Purujit said, don't pump the harmonium so fast it will break.
Jai Om Vishnupad. I think Purujit was coming out. Jai Om Vishnupad. Pramamsa Paripradikacharya. Ashatara Shatahish Divan Grace Shila Isi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad. Pramamsa Paripradikacharya. Ashatara Shatahish Divan Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anata Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Janamacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gauravattarinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Chamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yaga Ki Jai. Samavita Bhaktirina Ki Jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Oh, glory to the Sambodhoris. Hare Krishna. Oh, glory to the Sambodhoris. Hare Krishna. Oh, glory to the Sambodhoris. Hare Krishna. Oh, glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Oh, glory to Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Prasad Bhutale Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Devadeva Stasis. I'm just working.
Where's Maxim? He's lying down.
Lying down.
He said his back hurts.
Maybe you can set up the live stream for him so he can hear.
Yeah? Yes, right now.
Oh, he's well.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 15, text 43. Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayau Antargataha Sva Vivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargataha Svavivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargataha Svavivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargata Svavivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargataha Svavivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargata Svavivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo Tasya Rabinda Nayanasya Padarabinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargata Svavivarena Chakaratesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitatanvo
Tasya Ravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayuhu Antargata Swabhiparena Chakaratesham Sanshobham Akshara Jusamapichita Tanvo Tasya of him Aravinda Nayanasya of the lotus-eyed Lord Padaravinda of the lotus feet Kinjalka with the toes Mishra mixed Tulasi the tulasi leaves Makaranda fragrance Vayuhu breeze Antagata entered within Svabhibarena through their nostrils Chakara made Tesham of the Kumaras Sankshobham agitation for change Akshara Jusham attached to impersonal Brahman realization Api even though Chitatanvoho in both mind and body. Translation: when the breeze carrying the aroma of tulasi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind. Even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears from this verse that the four Kumaras were impersonalists or protagonists of the philosophy of monism, becoming one with the Lord. But as soon as they saw the Lord's features, their minds changed. In other words, the impersonalist who feels transcendental pleasure in striving to become one with the Lord is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental features of the Lord. Because of the fragrance of his lotus feet carried by the air and mixed with the aroma of tulasi, their minds changed. Instead of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, they thought it wise to be devotees. Becoming a servitor of the lotus feet of the Lord is better than becoming one with the Lord. Om Agyantarinandasya Yanajana Shalakayam Chakshunan Minitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So the four Kumaras, they have become devotees. The four Kumaras were impersonalists initially, and then in this verse it is explained, and as soon as the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord mixed with the aroma of tulasi leaves, those of you who are taking care of tulasi plant, you know that the leaves of the tulasi are very fragrant. It's a very nice aroma. So the combination of these two, the lotus feet of the Lord and the fragrance of His pure devotee, Tulasi Maharani. She is a pure devotee of Krishna. So the mixture of both, they created such a wonderful experience for the four Kumaras, the wonderful aroma, a beautiful scent, that their impersonal conception of the absolute truth was defeated. Srila Prabhupada uses the word defeated. So, Krishna's mission is to defeat our impersonal idea of the absolute truth. And in our disciplic succession, Srila Prabhupada is also praised Nirvishesha Shunnyavari Paschatya Deshatarine. His mission also similarly is to defeat this philosophy of impersonalism. So the impersonalists are very fond of their mental speculation because their idea is that there is no supreme, there's no supreme God. There is supreme, but we are all supreme. We are all God. This is their idea, impersonalism. Impersonalism means that there is no one person that is supreme. It's a denial. Just like, let's say, here, Krishna Prema Mataji is making nice garlands for Krishna. So it is her unique quality. You know, she had this idea, let me make garlands, let me decorate the temple. Nobody else had that idea. So it's unique. So I should recognize that. This is devotional community atmosphere. That the devotees, they recognize other devotees' service. It is unique. It is original. It is coming from Krishna. This word original indicates the existence of the Lord. Because Krishna is the origin. Janmadiya sayataha, he is the origin of everything. Am sarvasya prabhavo, he is the source of the material energy and the spiritual energy. So, and as soon as we speak of original, it is the indication of the tendency to seek the origin. So whoever is original in this world, he is borrowing that quality from Krishna. So if I do not acknowledge this original or originality in devotee service, that is also a form of impersonalism. You see, if I say Krishna Prema is making garlands, but everybody is doing, all devotees are doing garlands. She is not special. I'm trying to, in the name of so-called, liberalism, I'm simply denying the beautiful service that devotee is rendering. So in the same way, as soon as I say that everyone is God, it's an indirect denial of God. Lord Chaitanya, he said that the Buddhists, the atheists, because Buddhists are openly atheistic, they are honest, honest atheists. But these impersonalists, especially the Mayavadis, they're dangerous atheists. Because they're posing as devotees. They're posing as spiritual, they're posing as theists, but actually they're atheists. Of course, there is a subtle difference between the Brahmavadis and Mayavadis. The Mayavadis are offenders. They say when Krishna comes here into this material world, he becomes contaminated by the material mode of goodness. Later on, we will discuss how the ornamentation, the ornaments on Krishna's body is being glorified. See, the impersonalists, they cannot explain the variegatedness in the spiritual world. Because for them, variegatedness, varieties, means material. As I said before, if I acknowledge the originality of one devotee, that is, I'm making variety meaningful. Srila Prabhupada gives this wonderful example. He says that flowers, again, we can stick with the flower topic. The flowers are very beautiful on their own. But if you tie them into bouquet, they become more beautiful in the combination. Similarly, man and woman might be beautiful on their own, but when they combined, just like our Daivi Shakti and Maitreya Rishi, they become more beautiful. So, liberalism, open-mindedness, because the impersonalists, they realize, Aham Brahmasmi, everyone is spirit. That is also nice. If we understand that we're all united, we're all part of one whole, that is also nice. This material distinction, oh, you are Jewish, you are Palestinian, you are British, you are, what is that, Tunisian. This is not good. This is material vision. A spiritual person, real pandita, he sees everyone equally. Vinaya, what is that? Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmaniga Vihastini Suni Chaiva Swapakicha Pandita Samadarshina. A truly learned person, he sees a dog eater, elephant, Brahman, everyone as equal. Samadarshina. Sama means equally. Darshina means vision. Yes, equal vision. With equal vision, he sees them as spirit souls. But there is also a spiritual variety. So, because they cannot understand about the spiritual variegatedness, they interpret everything. Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's ornaments, Krishna's devotees, Krishna's name, Krishna's pastimes as material. In the material world, the mode of passion creates varieties. There's a man, woman, okay, they're one whole, one unit. And then they have children. So then the variety is expanding. So, but because the materialists, they think that there's no material variety in a spiritual sense. They think that the variety in the spiritual world is also material. That is, simply for the time being, we're being given this explanation because we're very attached to material form and material varieties. So they interpret like this, that the Shastra is sort of cheating us, breach-preaching us, and ultimately there is simply Brahman, there is simply oneness. They have this very foolish theory. For the time being, yes, I must worship the form, Krishna, but ultimately then I will have to give up the form as well. They think that is more elevated. So, no, the varieties in the spiritual world are conducted under the guidance of Shuddha Sattva, purified goodness. There is the fourth stage of modes. There is the ignorance, that is the lowest, no incentive, laziness, sleep. Then there's passion, as I said, that expands the material varieties. Then there is material goodness, sustenance, maintenance, peacefulness, truthfulness, cleanliness. This is very similar to the spiritual mode of goodness. It's very close. That is why we cultivate the mode of goodness. Rise early, be regulated, follow the regulated principles, chant 16 rounds, not 5 rounds. It's very similar to the spiritual platform. But of course, Krishna explains that in the material mode of goodness, what is the difficulty? Anybody knows? He becomes attached to happiness. I have now peaceful condition. My room is very clean. I am big Brahmana. Oh, why should I preach to these low class? That is material goodness. So, Shuddha Sattva means not attached. Yes, I am clean, I am in a mode of goodness, I maintain the temple, I maintain our community, bliss society, everything. But not for my happiness, for Krishna's happiness. There is this service attitude. Everything for Krishna, nothing for me. The material attitude is everything for me, nothing for Krishna, not even a penny. Those who are distributing books, they know. Not even a penny I will give to Krishna. If I give anything to Krishna, then it will be a rotten banana, something I don't need. So, Shuddha Sattva means the complete opposite. Everything for Krishna, everything good for Krishna, and I take the remnants. Remnants of food. Nobody likes to take remnants of food. If I take now food, and I put my saliva on it, and then you ask me, I also want, and I say, oh, you take after me, like a dog. It is very nice. Nobody likes that. But devotee is relishing these remnants. This is called prasadam. Krishna's saliva and my saliva, there is a vast difference. So, that is devotional attitude. And the Shuddha Sattva also is in charge of this spiritual variegatedness. There is also variegatedness. Krishna is not alone Krishna. There must be varieties. Because otherwise, how we can say that Brahman is great? How he is great? Brahman is supposed to be the greatest, the most expanded, and maybe, you can say even ever expanding. The greatly expanded and ever expanding. So how can he be devoid of qualities? That cannot be. So there must be quality. That's why we come to the conception of Bhagavan. 6 opulences. Wealth, fame, beauty, wisdom, renunciation, strength. All these qualities are included in the personality of Krishna. That is why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the impersonalists, if they are sincerely seeking the Brahman, the Absolute, they must come to Krishna. But there is one condition, that the personal nature of Krishna can only be understood through pure devotional service, unalloyed devotional service. And that service must be performed under the guidance of a pure Vaishnava. Mukta Purush Vaishnava, liberated Vaishnava. There are different types of Vaishnavas. Not everyone is on the same platform. So if we want to understand Krishna, we must approach the Vaishnava situated on the lowest platform, right? Topmost, yes. Topmost. Only he can guide us perfectly. Krishna is perfect. So the process to reach him must also be perfect. And the spiritual master who is giving us the process, because that is the duty of the spiritual master, according to the time, place and circumstances, he should give the perfect process of realizing Krishna, of how to perform devotional service. So he also must be perfect. That is the condition. So the 4 Kumaras also, they have heard from the spiritual master. Who was their spiritual master? Lord Brahma. It was their father and it was their spiritual master simultaneously. Sometimes that can happen. Just like in the case of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his saintly father was Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So both are the acharyas. Sometimes it happens. If the father is a pure Vaishnava and he raises his child in the pure process, and the child is willing also, then the child can also become a pure Vaishnava. That is perfect family life. We should all try for this. Perfect family life. Raise pure Vaishnavas. It is not so easy also, because he is an independent soul. It is not that he began his existence by taking birth in your family. Actually, devotees, they're receiving all these unsuccessful yogis. In the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is clarifying, because Arjuna is asking what happens to a person who does not succeed in Krishna consciousness. What happens to him? Unsuccessful yogi who only chants 5 rounds instead of 16 rounds. What happens to him? So then Krishna explains. He takes birth in a family of Vaishnavas. That is the best option. The other option is that he goes to the heavenly planets to enjoy sense gratification, or he's born in a family of Brahmanas or a rich mercantile community. Just like Donald Trump, he was born in a rich family. So that is the indication of his pious background. Now, of course, you might disagree. Oh, Donald Trump is a rascal number 1. But we know from the Shastra that anyone who is born in a rich family is a pious background. Now, of course, it is up to him whether he's using that credit or not. That background can produce a favorable mentality for accepting devotional service, but he may also become deluded, because in a rich family there is a profuse supply of sense gratification, women and money, that you can also see in the case of Donald Trump, always surrounded by very beautiful models and so much money, and so I think he never took intoxication, or very rarely, because his brother was an alcoholic. So he's not taking any drugs, Mr. Trump. That is good quality. That is good. So, but otherwise, yeah, he can become diverted. So if one takes birth in a family of transcendentalists, then he gets the opportunity. Whatever little inclination was there, it is supported by the father and the mother also. Both, they can be gurus to the children. And then he can finish his Krishna consciousness and come back to Godhead. So there is a distinction. Anybody knows what that distinction is? How come one devotee takes birth in a mercantile family, like Donald Trump, and gets corrupted, and someone takes birth in a family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? What's the difference? Yeah. No, someone else. You know everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains the difference. What is the difference? Yes, you know?
Morgan has a guess.
Yes, okay.
Morgan is saying good karma in past life.
No. We're speaking of 3 different devotees. One takes birth in a mercantile family. Srimatam Suchinam Gehe.
Has it got something to do with the modes?
No. One takes birth in a Brahmin family, one takes birth in a mercantile family, and one takes birth in a family of pure devotees. How come?
Desire.
No. You can have desire, but if you don't chant, if you don't do your sadhana, what will you, Krishna is not interested in your desire. You might have a desire, it's too late. Actually, that is not desire. The real desire means that you take up the process. That is how you judge who has a desire. If you don't have a desire, then you will not take it up. Only one if you have a real strong desire. The desire must mature. Desire, okay, might be there, but it must mature. And then when we take up the sadhana, there are also differences amongst devotees. One may fall down after a short period. It's too much for me. There's so many rules. Let me go home. So he gives up after a very short time. So he will take birth in mercantile family. And they might not even be devotees. Brahmana family also. Brahmana doesn't mean he's a devotee. Can be an impersonalist. So one who is practicing for a long time, Krishna says, for a long time, he will take birth. Long time. See, the mother of Krishna and the mother and father of Krishna, Devaki and Vasudeva, in their previous life, what were their names? Do you know? Vasudeva, Devaki, rings a bell? Everybody knows? So what they were in their previous life? Yes?
Aditi and Sutapa.
Aditi? Sutapa, you got right, yeah? Anybody on live stream? I mean, those who are on the live stream, they have advantage because they can just go to the Bhakta Chat GPT and he will tell them. What is that? Sutapa? Okay, homework. So they have performed austerities for thousands of years. It is not so easy that simply I have a desire. Or I have a desire to have Krishna as my son. Or I want. No. First of all, you must deserve. You are not the person who is calling shots. I have a desire. Krishna, come here and manifest in front of my eyes. You must convince Krishna. You must deserve. So only after he performs sadhana for a long, long, long time, and still he can fall down. So for such a devotee, there is an opportunity to take birth in a family of pure devotees. So the four Kumaras, they were sons of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma became agitated because the four Kumaras, they refused to procreate. Lord Brahma was very anxious to start the material creation and the population, to populate the material world. So he said to the four Kumaras, come on, get married and let's go. Have sex and come on. But the four Kumaras were intelligent. They said, no, no, no. Brahmacharya ki jai. They said, what is the use of getting married? This is material entanglement. We will meditate. And they were impersonalists. So then Lord Brahma became very angry, and Lord Shiva, in the form of Lord Rudra, came out from in between his eyebrows. This is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyway, Lord Brahma, he was instructing them. Lord Brahma is the head of our Sampradaya. Brahma Madhava Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So the four Kumaras, they were hearing from him. And because Lord Brahma was a pure devotee, when they smelled the incense, when they smelled the aroma of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna mixed with the tulasi aroma, that knowledge that they received from Brahma became realized. Realized. Just like you have wood and the wood is dry, and as soon as there is a little contact with fire, it burns. So they were hearing from Lord Brahma, but they could not understand the personal feature. But when they came in contact with the aroma, they realized. So it was actually because of this hearing from a pure devotee. One who is not situated under the shelter of a pure devotee, one who is taking initiation from all kinds of bogus rascals, he cannot understand this personal feature of the Lord. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Krishna can only be understood by pure service. And pure service means serving a pure devotee or under the instruction of a pure devotee. You cannot serve whimsically also. So it's very, very important that we take up the process and we accept a bona fide spiritual master. Our Srila Prabhupada is a bona fide spiritual master. He is not a cheater. He is a pure devotee. And he has given us all these books so we can learn the process of pure devotional service. And if we apply his instructions, then we also we understand Krishna is a person and I have a relationship with him. It will be very, very obvious. So, this personal understanding of Krishna gives you the higher taste, high ecstasy. Previously we were discussing that to have the darshan of Krishna was just like drinking nectar, amrita. Chanting Krishna's name is also like that. In the purified stage, in the beginning, it is very bitter. Nobody wants to chant. But if we persevere and if we give up the bad habits, then we'll taste the chanting as sweet as nectar. We'll not be able to stop chanting. You were asking this question, how is it possible to chant so many rounds? It's a question of taste. If you have taste, look at, mundane people. What is their taste? Sex life. How much time they spend discussing sex life? Men, women, relationships, romance, love coach, relationship coach, this coach, that coach. So much they discuss about sex life. And not just that, they perform devotional service to sex life. Because all their work, everything, all their jobs, is simply so they can get money. And when there's money, then they can arrange nice situations so they can have sex life. Sex life is the combination of all material endeavors. Therefore, those who have no sex life and they're working hard, they double cheated. They cheated, double cheated. See? And that is going on right now. The young people, they don't have any sex life. I have read some study. They don't have. They don't care for sex life anymore. They're simply working hard like asses. But when you ask him, why don't you join us? He refused. No, it is not my style. What is your style? Working for nothing. At least if you had some sex life. You have no sex life, no wife, no children, nothing. Not even girlfriend. Nobody wants to commit. Like cats and dogs, they argue. Because everybody is thinking, I am the Lord, I am the master. I have everything. I have technology, I have my cell phone. So nobody is interested. So, yes, so imagine, there's still sex life. Somehow or other it is going on there. Pornography, prostitute, this sex, that sex. So, because they have so much taste for sex life, they can discuss so much about sex life. Similarly, if we give up this nonsense sex life, this is an opportunity for those young people. Now they're in a stage, they're frustrated. They don't feel so much enthusiasm for sex life. So now is an opportunity. Now they have zero taste. Previously they had taste for sex life. Now they're in the stage of zero. That is also not natural for a living entity, not to have pleasure. Anandamaya Bhyashat. So now we must supply the superior taste, higher taste, Paramdrishta Nivartante. That is this Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha, personal conception of God, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So if we supply that, they will relish, this is the real taste. And then they will not be able to give up this Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, many times he said that these, my disciples, they have joined me, they have great taste for Krishna consciousness. You try to bribe them. They will not agree. If you come and you give, if you say, I give you $1 million, you give up this Krishna consciousness. If someone comes to Hamsini and says, here's $1 million, you give up this bliss association. What will you say? You say, I take the $1 million. No, you will refuse. I kick on your face. What you, millions of dollars? Even unlimited number of dollars will not give me that same pleasure as I experience on Harinam Sankirtan. It is so high. It is true actually. Prabhupada, he's not whimsically saying this. There was an instance, Garga Muni Prabhu, he's a great friend of Bliss also. His father was a millionaire, and when he joined Srila Prabhupada's movement, he came to bribe him. He said, I'll give you my factory, everything. And he bought prostitutes for him. And the prostitutes, they came, they knocked on his door, Garga Muni's door, and he opened and he saw the prostitutes. They say, okay, your father, he sent us, we're going to have sex with you now. So Garga Muni, very, very powerful brahmachari, he said, no, I don't need, but you can go to my father, he needs it more. So, just see, so much high taste. If you give prostitutes to any young man, he will enjoy like anything. Of course. But Garga Muni, such a powerful brahmachari. Even Vishwamitra Muni, such a great sage. He is the spiritual master of Lord Ramachandra. He was enticed not by any ordinary prostitute, but Menaka from heavenly planets. Yes, she came. So you cannot imagine such a beauty. Immediately when you see, immediately you pass semen. Yes, without any agitation, just like that. You release semen. So we can only imagine, at least, you should actually not even imagine. But so he became alert, Vishwamitra Muni. Why he became alert? Haridas Thakur, he was alert even by more attractive women. Maya personified came to alert Haridas Thakur. Maya, sometimes it is said that a woman is the personification of Maya. So Maya herself came to tease Haridas Thakur when he was chanting his 120 rounds. You thinking, 5 rounds, I've done great job. But he was chanting 120 rounds every day. And Maya came to tease him. And he conquered. Vishwamitra was conquered, but Haridas Thakur, he conquered Maya and he initiated Maya into the chanting. And Maya was next to him chanting also, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. First she was exhibiting the womanly, the gestures. Postures. Yeah, she was exhibiting postures. Like on Instagram. They also exhibit, there's a yoga. The girls, I'm a yoga instructor, and on Instagram you see all the postures and the men are coming, that yoga I like very much, when I can see, the tight leggings. And so she was also exhibiting these postures. It was very attractive for men. But Haridas Thakur was not conquered. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can only imagine how powerful this holy name is, that he can conquer Maya through this. If you can conquer Maya, we usually complain that, oh, I'm tired, oh, I am this, or this happened and that happened. What is that? All these excuses that we have, all these obstacles that are there. Who supplies these obstacles? Krishna? You think Krishna supplies obstacles? Krishna wants you to stay here forever and rot? No. Krishna wants you to come back home, back to Godhead. So who is it supplied? It's supplied by Maya. Maya is trying to create so many obstacles to stop you from chanting. But Haridas Thakur was able to conquer Maya by chanting the holy name of Krishna. So the holy name itself is the solution to all your obstacles. If you think that, oh, I cannot chant because of this, you're in illusion. You follow this point? This is the illusion. You think that, oh, this is the causing me not to chant, so I will not chant. I must first of all solve the obstacle. You cannot solve the obstacle. See, the solution is chant Hare Krishna. You have to take up the challenge. You have to be determined. It's not so easy to get out of the material existence. It is not that Haridas Thakur was simply chanting, 5 rounds. He was chanting 120 rounds. And offenseless rounds. Not just 120 rounds, but offenseless, pure. Pure, no motive. Nothing in the mind, no speculation, no material cultivation of material desires. So that was the difference between Vishwamitra Muni and Haridas Thakur. Vishwamitra Muni was impersonalist. That's how he was conquered. Haridas Thakur was a devotee, bhakta. So this impersonal aspect can only take you so far, and because of lacking this higher taste, higher ecstasy, the impersonalists, they fall down. So it is not a very good path to be stuck on. Don't be stuck. If you are an impersonalist, kindly come to Krishna consciousness. Just like the 4 Kumaras came, just like Vishwamitra Muni came, and just like Shukadeva Goswami, the speaker of the Bhagavatam, he was also an impersonalist, and when he heard the Bhagavatam in the womb of his mother from Vyasadeva, he also became a devotee. Okay, so I'll stop here. Are there any questions? The mic? Give him mic. Give Maitreya mic.
Okay, it's live. You were mentioning the birth in different families according to the piety, and you said Donald Trump, he might not believe, but he had a pious background.
Yes.
So how does it work? Because then there are these lower planets where they're demons.
Mm-hmm.
They also enjoy like material facilities, but they can't. I mean, how does one go to a heavenly planet one by pious activity, and then he goes to like a demon planet? Is it by the same pious activity, or how does that work?
Well, I don't know the details, but there might be some, different varieties of piety. Yeah. Krishna gives you the freedom to enjoy. It's not necessarily mercy when Krishna gives you that. You see, the example of the demons in lower planets, they enjoy sense gratification, but it's not necessarily mercy of Krishna because they're demons. Sometimes it's a curse. The more you enjoy sense gratification, the later on you have to suffer.
Right.
Because sense gratification means that other living entities are suffering. That is sense gratification. Great example is meat eating. You don't have to eat meat. You don't eat it for health or for survival. You can maintain yourself on vegetarian diet, prasadam. So because of your sense gratification. Your senses are, they want variety. They're lusty. I want something that I don't deserve. Greed. And then the animals have to die. So then there's a punishment. You see? So even in this world, there's so many demons, they enjoy. You go on Oxford Street, devotees are struggling. They have no illicit sex, nothing, no enjoyment. Even the prasadam was burnt in the morning. And then they see someone, with nice pizza or, a nice girlfriend and everything, jewels and whatever. And you see also the demons who are enjoying sense gratification in this world. But their future is very dark. And the devotee's future is very, very bright. So, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. If we study, probably Srila Prabhupada explains it in detail. But this is the general principle. Next. Yes?
How is it possible that the four Kumaras have a sampradaya if their spiritual master is Lord Brahma?
Oh, that's a good question. Very good question. Yes, it shows you that the Guru is the Guru is one, because every Guru is trying to bring you to Krishna. So yeah, we see the differences of sampradayas according to different personalities, but they all teach Krishna, how to come to Krishna. So what Lord Brahma is preaching in our sampradaya, the devotees in the Kumara sampradaya, they also. There might be difference of presentation or different relationship, but the essence is the same. Yeah, sampradaya doesn't mean that they all have to be started at the same time. Okay. Next.
I just have a question in connection with that. But why actually are there different sampradayas?
Different tastes, different relationships, different mellows. They teach Krishna consciousness in different, we have this Madhurya Rasa, Lord Chaitanya. Mm-hmm. The other sampradayas are more awe and reverence.
Why the taste is eternal, your rasa with the Krishna is eternal, so how can you teach a taste?
No, you don't teach.
Yeah.
You don't teach. Those who are attracted, they're attracted to that sampradaya for a reason. Just like Prabhupada, he says, all my disciples, they have taken birth in Western countries. They were in Indians before. Krishna sent them there to assist me in my mission.
Wait, so you get attracted to a certain sampradaya because that sampradaya not teaches you, but helps you to awaken the particular rasa in which you are actually destined eternally to have?
Yes.
Because I was always wondering that, Lord Chaitanya came to teach Madhurya Ras, but it wouldn't really matter if you're in a Dasya Ras in Vaikuntha Loka.
Yes.
Because then what's the use of learning that then? But you're attracted to Lord Chaitanya Sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, because you actually have.
But you
that
can
rasa.
also be, even in Lord Chaitanya Sampradaya, you can also have Dasya. It's not necessary everybody has to have Madhurya.
Okay,
but in our Sampradaya, all the rasas are explained.
Yeah.
You see? The other Sampradayas, they don't have the complete variety.
Then it becomes even more confusing when you consider that, we say that it was not available before. Lord Chaitanya, he bought this Madhurya. It was not available, but someone in Satya Yuga, let's say, way before Lord Chaitanya came, he's also. It's possible that he was also he's also eternally in Goloka Vrindavan, but now he's just appearing, and it's no one was in Madhurya Rasa in Goloka Vrindavan until this Kali Yuga where Lord Chaitanya came, and then suddenly all the souls who are actually eternally Madhurya Rasa in Goloka Vrindavan, they appeared in this Yuga on this planet to follow Lord Chaitanya, or how does that?
I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe these rasas were there. Maybe in different form. I don't know. I would just speculate.
Okay.
It's a good question. You can study Prabhupada's books and surely it is explained there.
It doesn't.
Yeah. What I remember is a conversation where Rebati Nandan is asking about these rasas in the spiritual world, and Prabhupada says we can change also. In the spiritual, we can change from coward boy to a gopi and like that. It is not, but usually you don't change, but you can also change. So, yeah. There's this, very advanced knowledge, the rasas and this and that. It's not so important for us at this moment.
So Thomas Kiwi Krishna was watching and
Yes,
he's thanking you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for coming. I tag you with the hope that you're going to join us, and I'm happy that you took the invitation.
He was watching. He said, thank you, Prabhu. I have to run now, but I will finish watching the rest of the class after my tutorial. He's leaving with a question, though. I recently heard a lecture by Tribhuvanath Prabhu where he pointed out that there is also Maya in the mode of goodness, such as complacency due to feeling materially satisfied.
So, sorry, there's Maya in mode of goodness?
Yeah, due to complacency because of feeling materially satisfied.
Yeah.
So how can we keep the fire burning in our efforts to push forward the expansion of bhakti while also being sattvic and stepping out of the lower modes of passion and ignorance? And how can we tell when our efforts are transcendentally inspired as opposed to being carried out in rajas?
Yes, preaching. We have to preach. Some devotees, they become attached to the temple or even the institution, and they don't care for the benefit of non-devotees. They think, oh, we're a little group, our devotees, we're very elevated, and look at these mlechas, look at these fallen meat eaters, look at these demons, look at him, they're going to burn in hell, ha ha ha. That's not very elevated Vaishnavism. The Vaishnava is thinking of the demons, mostly. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he's thinking of the lowest of the lowest. That's why Prabhupada surrounded himself with the lowest of the lowest. Because only such a Mahabhagavad actually can transform them. So, of course, we should not imitate a pure devotee, but to whatever extent we should preach Krishna consciousness amongst the non-devotees. Not simply stay, in our devotee community safe and pat each other on the back, oh, you're very advanced or you're not advanced, and fight ultimately. There's so much fighting also amongst devotees because we have this potential to fight and preach, so we should go out and preach to those and fight, the Mayavadis and so on. So that propensity is nicely purified. So preaching is the answer. And how do you know that you're in a mode of goodness and not in a mode of passion? You will see it by the people that you preach to, by the devotees that you cultivate. Preaching doesn't mean simply, chanting and preaching. There must be some result. Prabhupada says preaching means how many disciples you make. So disciple doesn't necessarily mean disciple. It also means you cultivate some new devotees. You teach them how to offer food. You teach them how to chant japa. And furthermore, teach them the philosophy. You teach them how to approach Prabhupada as their spiritual master. And all these things. This is very, very important. So then you will see what is the level of these devotees that you cultivated. Are they in the mode of goodness? Are they chanting 16 rounds? Are they following the 4 regulative principles? Or, they just have a little bit of attachment to Krishna and they have many misconceptions. That is the indicator. That's how you can know. Okay. All right. So we now have to finish. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanand. Namo Mr. Paraya Krishna Vastai Bhutri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Samanindra Namare Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Mracharina Nirvishesha Shunamari Bhachardarishtari. If you have some questions that I was not able to answer, then you can message me in person. I will answer privately, okay?
Should I maybe write down, like take notes, because there were a few questions left. Should I maybe like write them myself, or should they like be...
No, they can send me a message.